This is Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum.
Well, when you're selling, you got to know who your buyer is, and you got to know how to market to them. I do.
And Dan Keller, mortgage expert with New American Funding.
Hey, rates are important, but strategy matters more than ever.
For the next hour, you'll learn impactful insider information as Christian and Dan teach about the ins and outs of Seattle's real estate market. Now, here's Christian and Dan.
Hello, and welcome to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. My name is Christian Nossum of the Awesome Nossum Group. I'm a local Seattle real estate broker here. And my co-host, Mr. Dan Keller.
What's going on? Mortgage advisor. I need it. Listen, this is important right now.
Man.
Because, I actually got a call from New American the other day. Ooh. Well, I didn't. Our regional did. So I have to stay in compliance to the T now because every single one of these shows, eyes are in the sky. So, hey, my name is Dan Keller, mortgage advisor at New American Funding. My MLO number is 115349. And what that means is I'm legitimately able and legal to provide mortgage services. Woo. But that's not the purpose of the show. Nope, we don't do that.
But we have to say it just to make sure we're all good.
That is it. So good to have you back, man. Jeez, what'd you take, about 3 months off? 2 months off? Where'd you go?
Was gone one show.
Seemed like forever. It's not the same without you. Don't ever leave me in charge.
No, we just did a little family vacation. Had a couple. There were 3 families of us. It was a great idea. It was extremely hard to actually do it. So there was 6 adults and 7 children.
Okay.
7 children were all under the age of 5.
Wow, hands full.
A 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 2 2-year-olds, a 1-year-old. I guess 2 5-year-olds. Yeah.
Wow.
So
you went up north, right?
Yeah, we were on Lummi Island.
Yeah.
Which is just
Beautiful.
off Bellingham. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was the weekend before, the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. Or Labor Day weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last chance to get out and get away.
Exactly, before school starts.
Yeah, which, by the way, it's back.
Today was the big day.
Yeah.
We dropped off Avalie this morning, her first day of kindergarten.
Yeah.
Crazy.
A couple tears.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Shannon? Yeah.
Lots.
Oh, yeah.
She lost it, but
yeah.
That's all right.
Well, when you see how happy, I mean, I can't speak for Avalie, but we went through the same situation with Allie and Hudson. Hudson, we were like, get the heck out of here. You're gone. Jenny was ready. But yeah, it was hard with Allie. But when you see how much they enjoy their day and their the friends that they make and the teachers, it'll be a little easier tomorrow.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, we brought her. We're totally off topic, but we'll talk about it anyway.
Yeah.
We brought her. We had a one-on-one meeting with her teacher last week, and Avalie's just walking around all super confident, knows exactly where everything is.
Yeah.
Like, we start off, the 3 of us are walking together in a row, and within 30 seconds, she's 10 steps ahead of us, just strutting her stuff.
I love that.
It's like, gosh,
You're
ready.
She is, by the way, the cutest little thing ever.
Yeah,
I love it. I popped by your place the other day, and she comes out and just gives me a hug. It was like she's so adorable.
She is.
Yeah, and then at the birthday party the other day, she's quite the athlete too.
Oh yeah, so she's fun.
Yeah,
she's a good one.
Yeah,
she's gonna be fun to watch her grow up. So
that's it.
Anyways, back on topic. Talking about real estate. There's a lot going on, man. It's
well, you're busy. Holy cow!
It is. It's been busy.
You're so busy. You've added to your team. Like, not just added one person. You're growing like mad, man. So congrats.
Yeah, it's good. I feel like very soon we're gonna have to add more. So, which is good. I mean, it's just you get to a point where your level of customer service starts to suffer because you're so busy.
Yeah, it's not like you're handing off business to people. You're getting support. You're supporting.
That's all it is. It's just support.
Yeah, the service levels remain the same or actually improve.
Yep.
So
I actually have extremely high service level for my expectations, and I felt like that was slipping through the cracks because I was so busy.
Yeah.
So
I have to give this example. So I met with one of your homebuyers the other day. Mm-hmm. And I always open up with, hey, how did you meet Christian? How do you know Christian? Well, she was like, well, I was referred to Christian by, a coworker down in another state. And coincidentally, they sold their house in that other state without talking to that coworker whose sister, somebody is a real estate professional, or her friend was a real estate professional. I'm sorry, they didn't use her.
Wow.
And she let her have it because they sold their home in California without using her. So basically she said, listen, you're not buying your next home without me introducing you to somebody. And that's how she said she met you.
Wow.
So that's pretty good.
That's pretty cool.
And I'm pretty sure she researched it.
Yeah.
Yelp, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that's pretty credible when another real
yeah.
estate professional out of the state recommended her. And she was actually a part of a relocation program, which introduced them to mortgage and real estate services.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're both having the chance to serve her because of our service level. So yeah, that's huge. It's big kudos to you.
Yeah, and they've been a lot of fun to help find a place.
Yeah.
I actually first helped them find a rental, which I never do.
That's where she said she fell in love with you. It was just like, hey, I'll help you out. And that's not, you're not in property management. No. That's not your job.
That's never what I did. That's actually the first
and
one
you're
I ever
so
done.
busy. I'm like, we can't find time to do that. But no, that's great, man. So
Yep.
good.
So it's fun times. Fun times. So let's get into a little bit of business related topics.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit of what's going on with TRID and where things are at. So kind of explain what it is, give a backstory. So we can
I really
get
think
people
this
up
is
to date,
good timing to kind of review this. So whether you own a home or you're buying a home or possibly even considering selling or buying, you need to be aware of this. So it was a little over a year ago that I would say the government, basically they created an entity called the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and it was designed to protect the client, to protect the customer, to prevent them from rogue, if you will, rogue loan officers and real estate agents that didn't necessarily care about the client's best needs. They cared about their personal needs, which is getting paid. I was a big advocate for it. I served on panels. I think if you listen to our previous shows, huge advocate of CFPB. I think it's great. It gives the consumer more power and protection. And I think that it's been a win. Most things that the government imposes, a lot of the times, they're either redundant or they don't ever. You don't ever get great feedback.
Exactly.
They don't ever pan out. I think this was a win. I think it's panning out. So I'll give you kind of a heads up. Basically what it does is it does delay transactions. So the days of just getting a home loan, let's say I used to be able to have you come in, get approved, get you in as fast as I could get you in underwriting and get an appraisal back, we could close. Sometimes I've done transactions for you in 7 to 10 days. These new guidelines require us to disclose up front, and what we disclose up front, you have to abide by up to closing. You have to you have to deliver that.
Yeah, you can't give people one number up front. Hey, it's going to cost this much. This is kind of what is it interest rate as well?
So interest rate fees. So there's it protects you from fees and rates moving. Now, if the rate's not locked, that could happen. And so basically, if that changes, regardless, so let's just fast forward. We disclose fees for the transaction and even third-party fees, everything. Fees and a rate. We get 30 days down the road and we're ready to close your loan. Under this new CFPB guidelines, there is a closing disclosure. Much like when you refinance a house, you have the 3-day right to rescind. So it's the same thing now for people purchasing. There's a 3-day dead period, and it's designed to give the consumer 3 days to review their loan documents. What we do, we took this to our advantage. Most banks are like, it's just going to cause delays. Well, here's what I did. On the day that those closing disclosures are sent out, and you know this, we send out an email summary to our clients letting them know that, hey, your closing disclosures have just been sent out. Before you acknowledge those, Dan would like to set up a time over the phone to just go over those with you to make sure and confirm that your rates, what you expected, your closing costs are what you expected, and your monthly payment is what you expected. And then when they open the closing, so I go over those 3 variables, and when they open the closing disclosures and those match, it's another level of wow. So we've taken it to our advantage. I think it's huge for the consumer. Real estate agents and lenders don't necessarily. They weren't a huge fan of it because it does cause delays.
Yeah, it slows things down. I mean, we have one transaction where we had an appraisal issue, not a cost, not a value issue, more of a, I don't even know what you call it.
Oh, that's another guideline.
Yeah,
I think you're referring to the one that I think you might be. It's another guideline that was imposed about a year ago. It's the Fannie Mae collateral underwriting guideline, which we don't need to get into that. But there's so many things that, and I love how you handled that, by the way. You handled it professionally. You and I both, we had to actually educate the listing agent on it. But we took the time to educate the borrowers and the consumers on, hey, this is put in place. Even that Fannie Mae collateral underwrite, it's put in place to protect you so that you're not paying more than you should for a home.
Exactly.
And when you twist it that way and you present it that way,
it makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah.
And we did one thing too, just to make sure that the sellers knew. I mean, there's a delay in the closing date.
Yep.
It's not the buyer's fault. Nope. It's not the seller's fault. It's not even your fault. It's the appraiser's fault, kind of. In this case, it was because he was lazy.
Yeah. And that we talked about this last week and the week before last, I think. Another problem, a hurdle that we're having to jump through right now is appraisers. There's only so many of them in the Seattle marketplace.
Yep.
And
they're completely overwhelmed.
They're overwhelmed because you've got the Wells Fargos and the Bank of Americas and the Chase that have millions of customers. And what are they all doing right now? They're marketing refinance opportunities to the customers, and
they're getting overwhelmed with that.
And it hurts us in the purchase industry because
it's slowing down purchases big time.
Yeah. So I told somebody the other day. I told your client that the other day. 30 for us is the new 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Being able to close in actually 30 days is like, wow, that's crazy. Whereas, I don't know, 6 months ago, closing in 30 days was like, well, that's kind of long.
Yeah.
We were promoting 14 days, 15 days.
That was our
deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not the case anymore. Most lenders are 45 to 60
and
days.
this will pass.
Yeah.
This will pass. I think next week what I'd love to talk about is what the appraisal management companies are doing right now to take advantage of this. And I think it's borderline extortion. I think it's borderline fraud. I think you're going to see the fallout from this. Appraisals have gone from $550, Christian. I had to have a
$550.
$550 for an appraisal on a residential purchase.
Yeah.
A client in Lake Stevens. That's not rural. We live up by there.
Yeah.
$1,500 the other day.
Oh my gosh.
It included a rush fee and a property complexity fee. $1,500. No appraisal would pick it up for 2 weeks.
What?
Yep. So what we're seeing right now is the average cost for an appraisal is $1,100.
Wow.
It's doubled.
So double the price of what it was costing.
And that's to get it turned around in a 2 to 3 week period.
Wow.
So the appraisers,
they're taking advantage of this.
They're controlling the market.
Yeah, completely controlling the market. I mean, they're literally saying, we're not going to take this. We're not going to do this appraisal
unless you up your fee.
Wow. That's crazy.
Crazy.
All right, well, we got to take a quick break. After the break, we're going to have Alan Regala of Shelf Genie on as a guest, and he's going to explain kind of some pretty cool things that he can do with his company to update your kitchen or shelving needs. Stay tuned for more Seattle Real Estate Radio.
We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on 1300 KKOL AM. Today, we are chatting with Alan Regala, who is the owner of Shelf Genie here in Seattle. And he's got some pretty good information I think pretty much everybody could benefit from, unless you just built a custom house and you already redid your kitchen and your pantry and your garage and everywhere else that could have storage. So unless you've done that, you're going to want to listen to Alan, because he's probably going to give you some good tips on how you could get your home organized a little bit better. So real quick about Alan. So Alan is the owner of Shelf Genie, a company that designs, builds, and installs custom storage solutions for homeowners. He has a master's degree in mechanical engineering from Stanford. Sorry, I'm fighting a cold. He's designed several consumer products and medical devices while at the world-renowned design consulting firm IDEO. And he's created and patented his own organizational products. He's a passionate guy, and he's passionate about making spaces efficient, accessible, and organized. And that is exactly what Shelf Genie is all about. So thank you very much for coming on today, Alan. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Christian.
Yeah. So real quick, why don't you just give us a quick overview of what Shelf Genie system is and how it can help people out?
Yeah, the quick overview is, we're all about bringing joy into the home. That's the main thing. And there's a lot of frustration in people's kitchens. It's inaccessible. People don't feel like they have enough space, especially when they're downsizing.
Yep.
So what we do is a custom free design consultation. We go in, we evaluate the space, create some great solutions, and then we build and install these solutions into people's homes.
Nice. And I know that I'll be giving people a little little special that you're offering people at the end of our conversation. So stay tuned. If all this sounds interesting, you'll get a little special deal for listening to Seattle Real Estate Radio. So, little teaser there, Dan.
Nice. Always like that.
So, say I'm buying a house, and or let's say I live in my house. I've lived here for 5 years, and my kitchen, I'm like, I wish I had more space. I want to add an island or something to create more storage space because we just got so much kitchen stuff. Should I do a consultation like right now? Should I talk to an architect? What should I do? Or should I just talk to you and figure out, maybe your system could actually help me more than adding a whole freaking kitchen island or something like that?
Yeah, the best thing to do is really to contact us directly and figure out what makes sense. So there's things that we do that we're great at, and there's things that we don't do.
Yep.
And there's a very clear line.
Yep.
The thing that we do best is we retrofit into an existing space.
Yep.
Whether it's existing kitchen cabinets, pantries, bathrooms. Those are the three main areas.
Perfect.
And the great thing about that is, for one, it's much less expensive than tearing out your whole kitchen and putting all new cabinets. And
that's
everything else.
that's the thought behind most people when they want to redo their kitchen. They're doing it because they want more space. And it seems like Shelf Genie could save a lot of money and time and effort by just going in there and kind of retrofitting what they currently have and making it more accessible.
Exactly.
More organized.
It's a fraction of the cost of doing, full-blown, renovation. And what's nice, it's clean, it's fast. And the thing is, most people don't realize how much storage space they actually have and how much usable storage space they could have. They only know what they currently are dealing with, and it's probably not being used very effectively. So oftentimes we gain, 50%, 20, 50, sometimes more percent storage space that's usable.
Wow. So you're taking space that was unusable or maybe not maximized.
Exactly.
And just actually making it usable.
That's right. If you think about your cabinets, and if you open your doors, you kind of envision you go home, you open the doors with the pots and pans, and what you normally use is in that front 6 to 12 inches.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the first ones you grab out. That's the ones you use all the time.
And then you think about that pantry, and you think about the cans that are all the way in the back, all the stuff that's back there, and most people say, I have no idea what's back there.
I don't know how long it's been there. More scary. Yeah. I don't know how long that pasta's been sitting there or that can or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And when people, and the great thing is when people remove the items from their spaces so that we can install our product, by the time they put the stuff back, that's the true tell of how much space they've actually been using, is it's oftentimes it's like half empty. But by the time they put stuff back, because they had all the stuff that wasn't being used. So really they were only using half of that cabinet anyways. And then now we're taking advantage not only of the space that they had stuff, wasted items,
kind of like the
expired
depth.
items.
Yeah.
Exactly, the depth. Also, the vertical space as well. When you've got a lot of dead space in between the shelves because you just got these big gaps between the shelves.
Yeah. So you can take like all your canned food and have it on one shelf. And so your system kind of is more like the pull-out shelving. That's a lot of what it is. So
Exactly.
if you have a whole cabinet that normally is just canned food, you're probably wasting a good 4, 5, 6 inches above the canned food.
Exactly.
That's just being wasted. So if you could add these shelves, you're going to maximize the space a lot more.
Exactly right.
Cool. All right. That makes sense. So you come in, kind of give me an overview of the process. You come in, you give me a free consultation. I'm saying, wow, this is awesome. This is great. Can I come look at it somewhere, or how does that work? Does you have a showroom or something like that, or what?
I like to say that we have a mobile showroom.
Yeah?
Which we exhibit at a lot of the events around the area. So right now, for example, we're at the Washington State Fair.
Cool.
In Puyallup.
Yeah.
We were just at Evergreen State Fair in Monroe, and we do all the home shows and stuff like that. So that's a great place to see a big display. We have a 10 by 20, looks like a kitchen display of pantry and blind corners and all these different sorts of solutions. But really the magic happens in your home because everybody's space is different. Everybody has different items and uses it differently. So the key is really the design consultation. This part's free, as I mentioned before. We come in and we'll bring some samples with us, and so we'll show you some samples as well as a lot of photos of previous designs that we've done for other clients that maybe have a similar layout and that sort of thing. And then we spend, typically between an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's really diving in deep to understand how the person uses their space, what kind of items they have, and what's available. Like, what are the cabinets that are available? And by asking a lot of great questions, we can really uncover a lot of areas of opportunity to make the space more efficient and more accessible.
That makes complete sense.
What if I were to jump in here? So I've got you, the organizing expert in regards to space, and you, the real estate broker.
Yeah.
Combining the best of your talents.
Yeah.
Would this add value to a home?
Absolutely.
I
Will
would
this increase the
definitely
value?
think
You
so,
think so?
Yeah. People love those pull-out shelves
Yeah.
in a kitchen.
Yeah, you
Like,
show a ton of homes, so I mean,
Yeah,
and list
and
them.
that's people are actually sad, like if they have ever had that previously, and they have to buy a house that doesn't have those pull-out shelves. They are so upset, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to add that in."
Yeah, it's funny. It's exactly true. I tell that to people all the time.
It's so
Once
true.
you have them, you will never live in another house without them, because now you know what it's like to have them. And
Yeah,
you
you're
can't not
so
have
much
them.
more. It forces you to be organized.
Yeah.
It forces you to actually use the stuff that you buy.
Yeah.
So the food that you're
Yeah.
buying, the
Yep.
the spices that you have. I mean, it makes it so much easier to actually utilize the stuff you've spent money on. Yeah, it's definitely going to increase property value.
Okay.
I mean,
Cool.
you might not see it on an appraisal per se, like if you were going to refinance your house or something like that, but on a usability and attractability scale, it's huge. I mean, a
considered
buyer's
in the group with an upgrade, if
yeah,
you will.
huge. I mean, if there's two identical houses, one has that in their kitchen and bathroom, and the other one doesn't.
No brainer.
10 out of 10 are going to go with the house that has it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just once you use it or see it in use, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, duh, this makes total
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. So there you go. That's a huge endorsement right there.
Hey, you heard it from an agent, and you heard it from
Yeah, and I
the guy
show a
himself.
lot of
Yeah.
houses. And that's it's true, and that's what I hear over and over. So it's interesting to see that that's what people tell you too.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. I actually have people that put these in with the intent that they're going to sell in a couple years. I know one who actually put it in knowing they're going to sell like right away, but I've had several that, hey, you know what, probably going to be here maybe three to 5 years. I'm going to do this now because I want to use it.
I want to actually use it
instead of waiting till right before.
Exactly.
and
You're going to
then-
spend the same amount of money. Might as well get something out of it.
Exactly.
In the meantime. But all they're doing is setting themselves up for failure when they buy that next house and it doesn't have it. I mean, really, that's all they're doing.
Well, that's what we're here for.
That's how you make your money.
That's awesome.
So, speaking of money, what is it? What's kind of an average cost for a kitchen per se to kind of go from a normal kitchen cabinet situation that doesn't pull out at all to adding them all over the place?
Great question. So it really does vary because
it kind of depends on the kitchen size. And
Yeah, exactly. It's all custom. You could have actually the same kitchen. We're doing a lot of work right now. Let's say like in Insignia, the downtown condos, high rises. And you can take the exact same unit with two different people, and the cost can be triple of the previous one, just because they use the space differently. Maybe they don't have as much stuff. They don't have the need isn't quite there, or they just maybe they have a lot of shorter items, which means you have more spaces, more levels. So the cost can range. I'd say our jobs generally range anywhere from $1,000 to $20,000, anywhere in between. Typically, people tend to spend more around the lines of, I'd say, $2,500 to $3,500. But that's including, the design, consultation, installation, and really high-quality product with a lifetime warranty.
Wow. I didn't know the lifetime warranty part. That's good. Nice.
It's great.
Cool. So do you only retrofit existing cabinets and pantries, or do you actually make cabinets that already have this installed, or what do you guys do?
So our specialty, and this is where we're really niche, which is we do retrofit into existing spaces. So in general, we don't really make cabinets per se like a cabinet company would. We would go into a space that already has cabinets, in general, like in the kitchen, for example, and we'll retrofit those with the glide-out shelving.
Yeah.
However, there are some circumstances, like in pantries, for example, like a big walk-in pantry, where maybe it's just completely empty, or it just has kind of wire shelving, and we'll take
which
all
is
those out.
normally what we see. It's just like on one side of the wall you have wire shelving, and the other side's open because you need to be able to walk in there and see it.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll go into a space like that, and we have some amazing solutions for those spaces. And we will build the framing that's required, which is kind of like a cabinet except without the door.
Yeah,
and kind of the fancy
kind of the
stuff.
interior wood
Exactly.
to hold the shelving and all that stuff.
Right. It's a really
Okay,
nice
that makes
looking
sense.
framing that we'll build. So it looks finished. It's just not going to have, doors and hardware and stuff like
Well,
that.
usually a pantry is going to have a normal door on the outside anyway, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That right there seems like that would, quadruple the amount of storage space in a pantry.
It's huge.
Because most people, like I was saying, you have the wire. It's a big closet, and sometimes it's like under the stairs. That closet space is often the pantry, and you walk in there and it's like, this is huge. You could store so much stuff. But you're like, but wait, I can only use one side,
Right.
and there's like 3 or 4 wire shelves, and I have to be able to walk in, so I'm losing all this space on one side. And then if I want to do anything big, they got to go in the back. And
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense.
I've been in several pantries where we have actually more than doubled the
I can
storage
see it.
capacity
Yeah.
in those spaces. Yeah,
I could totally see it. All right, so we got a lot more questions for Alan right after the break. So stay tuned for more from Alan from Shelf Genie.
We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. We are back with Alan. I don't know why I can't say Alan today. Sorry, man.
All right.
I'm fighting this cold. It's kicking my butt.
It's killing your L's.
It is. Alan Regala. There you go. I said it. Did I
Thank
say
you.
it right?
Well done.
Yes?
you did.
Okay, good.
Well, just listening to you guys talk over the last segment, I can tell you my wife, who's an organizing
Freak?
freak.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, super OCD
I know her pretty well.
on, she's going to love this. He just gave me this little pamphlet, which is huge, titled
this big
Solutions.
book, yeah.
Huge. But I want to throw a couple questions out at you as well to add a little color commentary to your last segment. What's the big difference between what you do and what we can find in a regular store?
Like a Bed Bath &
Yeah,
Beyond
Bed
or a
Bath
Home
Beyond or
Depot,
Home Depot.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't they have like some kind of solutions like this?
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, you can go to Home Depot or Container Store or a place like that.
Yeah.
So a great example. I was literally yesterday in Des Moines with a client, and they had some solutions that they had actually purchased from the Container Store. And there's a definite purpose for those particular items and for certain people in certain situations. It makes sense. But the big differences are number one is just the quality of the product.
Yeah.
I mean I could just pull it in and out or let her pull it in and out, and it was very, very different than pulling ours out as far as the smoothness, the quality of the hardware that's being used.
Well, and it kind of makes sense that this has to be very sturdy.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like almost like you imagine in your dresser. You go from an IKEA dresser where you pull out the shelf and it's shaking back and forth, and it's the bottom part's bowing because it's so heavy, to I don't know, a normal quality dresser.
Yeah,
it's
and-
kind of the same idea, right? Am
It
I
really
wrong?
is. It's exactly right. And when you get a lot of weight in the areas that we're looking at in pantries, like full of canned goods or bottles like
Cans,
alcohol, wine, and so
or pots and pans and stainless
pots and pans, cast iron.
Cast iron, yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I mean, those things are heavy.
So I'd say quality is the first. That's the most obvious. And it's a do-it-yourself thing. So if you're really all about doing it yourself, and budget is your number one concern, I would say those are probably your best bets. Or going to the store and buying something kind of off the shelf. Where we are, though, for people that are looking for a really high-quality product that's going to last a very long time, like the person who's looking to invest in the home and make it a home, add the value to the home, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
It's a custom solution with the design consultation. And I'll say that is, to me, my favorite part, because the difference between putting a couple off-the-shelf boxes in that pull out is night and day compared to having us come in and really evaluate the space with you and looking at all the things we look at and even the particular items that you have. And then creating a solution that's going to be way better than you could have even
Well,
imagined.
I can imagine, like, I show a lot of houses, obviously, and there's always, it seems like every kitchen has that wasted corner cabinet that goes back 3 feet, it feels like, and with the swivel, and it's either got the swivel or it doesn't, and it's just a cabinet that you never use. I'm guessing that you guys have some fantastic solutions for that on how to actually utilize that space. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, all right, cool. I'm
Yes.
smart.
You are smart, Christian.
That's what my mom says.
Are you Stanford master's degree?
No, I am not. I am not smart like Alan.
That's smart.
Well, these cabinets, they're everyone sees them and they're big pain for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two different kinds of cabinets actually. So you guys actually each mentioned one.
Yeah, there's two different versions. There's the Dead Space, then there's the Lazy Susan one.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the one with the dead space, it's more of a rectangular shaped cabinet.
Yeah.
And what it is, it'll have a door that opens up and then it goes in and then it cuts over to the side.
Yep.
Either the left or the right.
Yep.
And there's all that space way back there that's just so hard to get to.
Yeah, and the cabinet door is usually small, like the half size of a normal cabinet door, like the rest of them. So it's like, well, you can't put anything huge in there because it doesn't even fit sometimes. So it's like, well, what the heck do you do with this space?
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's just like there's only so much you can do with the corner, and so that's one of the options. So in this particular space, I'm going to try to describe it to you. But so if you're looking into the cabinet, right? Let's just think about the top shelf. What we do is we have a solution that you have a glide out shelf in the front that pulls out towards you.
Nice.
So right, you can imagine that. It's very obvious. Now there's another glide out in the cabinet it's a rectangle. It's next to the first glide out, and what you do is you pull that first one out towards you, and then you just reach in a little bit and pull the other one over, and it comes behind that first shelf when it's pulled out.
It slides over.
It slides over.
Then you can
right.
access the stuff that's behind the pull-out shelf.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
So it's
I
this
can
combination.
picture
Yeah, yeah, and it's really cool. It's great because it allows you to utilize that whole space because you've got these two rectangles next to each other. So you're really filling, and it's all custom.
Yeah.
So we're filling that space.
I'm gonna try and find a picture of this and show the viewers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Keep talking. Keep
yeah.
talking.
Yeah, it's in there. And so we do that both on the top shelf and on the bottom shelf. And it basically allows you to utilize that whole space while still maintaining access. It's a great storage and access.
Let me ask you this, since we're talking about rooms. Does your strategy change from kitchen to bathroom to bedroom to maybe hallway closets? Is there a different strategy, or is it the same approach?
It's really the same approach. And there's really a couple key principles that we utilize when we're designing spaces.
Okay.
And so, first of all, we try to really minimize dead space.
Okay.
So this is where you're looking into a space like a closet or a pantry or whatever, and you see this air, right? There's like, man, there's a lot of space there, and I'm just not using it.
Yeah.
Under sinks, that's a great space
Yep.
where there's a lot of air. And then second one is we try to minimize stacking. So if you can imagine you open like pots and pans and you got like a thing with like 6 pots inside of each other.
Yeah.
And then, the thing that you want is always on the bottom, of course, right?
Yeah.
So you take everything out, you unstack it, or you're in a pantry and you've got cans stacked on top of each other. It's just it's so hard to get to the bottom, right? And to the back. And then the third thing is we use glide out shelving when we want to get to the back of the space. So, you pull it out, and this is great when you have layers of things from front to back. So if you can imagine like canned goods in a pantry, you want to get to the one in the back, and there's like 10 deep. So instead of having to take everything out or have a bunch of dead space and reach over, you simply pull it out, and then you can get to the back. And then when you combine those things together, you end up getting these really efficient spaces without all this dead space, without the stacking. Everything's accessible. And we also know our goal is not to put glide outs in every single possible nook and cranny in the house. It's really just to put it where it makes sense. And so, oftentimes it's in the lower cabinets like this. And sometimes, people ask us about these upper cabinets, which I would say we take a look and we like to see where things are at. But, okay, so plates, that takes up the whole space already, right? There's nothing behind the plate. Pulling it out makes it a little closer to you, but it's really not, you're not getting a whole lot of it. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Glasses, you know what? The glasses are all the same. So you don't really need to get to that one in the back, so let's leave that one alone. Spices. Spices, those tend to be smaller little containers, and so those you may want to get to the back before that one in the front.
Well, and it's always so hard to see the ones that are the
Yeah.
second and third row back because you're
Correct.
looking for that one spice that you have, and you need it for this recipe, but you're like, damn, where the heck is it?
You don't know what you're talking about. You use spices
Oh,
and
yes.
recipes.
You good?
What? You?
Oh, yeah, I
You
could.
though. You?
Yes.
I just learned something new.
Yeah.
What? Nossum's house for dinner tonight.
Sounds good.
Dessert.
We're all invited.
But I hear you. No, that is a huge benefit.
Yeah, so for spices, we
Yeah.
would put in glide outs. But other spaces, usually the deeper spaces are the ones we tackle.
So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to ask for some of these photos, and we're going to overlay them on the video so that people can see what we're talking about as we actually talk about it.
Sure.
So anyone that's listening live, check in next week on SeattleRealEstateRadio.com.
Yep.
Watch the video if you're really interested in trying to understand what we're talking about, if you can't visualize it as well. And you can see the Shelf Genie photos describing kind of what's going on. We'll also have a link to Shelf Genie to your website. I think it's shelfgenie.com/Seattle. Is that
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So people can go on there and obviously check out a whole slew of things on there. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
No,
so
that's
that people
huge.
know
That's a
what's
great
going on.
idea. Okay, so I wanted to ask you this because this is a big part of when I talk to clients personally. The big difference between, and I know you present this to your clients when you introduce me as a mortgage professional, but how important it is to come in and sit down with me. So we do a mortgage planning meeting. We walk you through everything. We give you options versus just going to, I'm going to say it, Quicken or a large bank and it's just click and this and you're on your own.
Yeah.
With you, how important is that initial consultation?
Oh,
I think I know the answer.
The
but-
most important part of the whole process.
there
It
you
really
go.
is.
Okay.
It is that difference between, I think all I need is, a couple shelves that pull out versus I want to make your space more efficient and more accessible. And I'm going to transform this.
Yeah.
And I would tell you pretty much 9 out of 10 times the client afterwards will tell me that this is way better than I thought it was ever going to be once it's installed.
Well, so this is a perfect point for you to tell me or tell our listeners about the email that you got as we were sitting here.
Yeah.
The email that you received right before we were waiting to come on the air. Why don't you kind of share that experience real quick, what you got?
Yeah, it was great. I was just checking the email, and Noelle, who works for me, she's down at the Washington State Fair right now.
Yeah.
She had one of our clients drop by, which we get all the time, and the first thing that he said out of his mouth was, "You saved our lives."
Wow.
And he said, and this is a job that we had installed, I think, about 4 years ago, and he said, it is just amazing. It changes it has changed how we operate in our kitchen every day, and we just cannot believe it, and we're still so thankful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. It really does. And it makes sense. Once you start looking at the photos and you start imagining your kitchen and you start looking at these photos, I'm going, wow, we have so much wasted space in our kitchen. And I can think back to previous homes that we lived in as well. And it's the same thing. It's like, geez.
Yeah.
We were crushed for space.
Yeah.
We never have enough in a kitchen. And you look at this and you're like, okay, well, yeah, I could easily have maximized that much better had I known about this and had I actually done it, installed it. I mean, it just makes so much sense.
Yeah. So what, in kind of wrapping up, what is the one thing real quickly that a listener could right now, whether if they're listening at home, look at and be like, wow, I should call him. I should call these guys in regards to their counters and in space and closets.
I would take a look at the website, take a look at some pictures, and then look in your own cabinets. And then just open it up.
Yeah, and just compare.
All you have to do is look, and then how does that make you feel?
Yep.
That's the biggest thing.
And you mentioned dead space or air, dead air.
Dead
the
space.
more air and space
You see a lot of dead space.
You're
Is one
wasting
indication
space,
you have
yeah.
wasted space. And the other thing is if you see things piled on top of each other.
it.
That's the other thing.
Cool.
All right, so Shelf Genie designs, builds, and installs custom storage solutions in kitchens, pantries, and bathrooms. By retrofitting the existing cabinets with glide-out shelving, you'll have more access, more space, and more joy. Alan is offering a very special promotion for our Seattle Real Estate Radio listeners. If you call now and book your free design consultation, the first 15 callers are going to get 50% off installation. 50. That's insane. The number is 877-35-GENIE. That's 877-354-3643. And remember, mention Seattle Real Estate Radio and get that 50% off promotion. We got to take a quick break. Alan, thank you very much. That was
Thank you
awesome.
very
That was
much.
great.
Yeah.
And
Stay tuned.
we'll be
There's
back.
more Seattle Real Estate Radio coming up here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL. We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. For those that are listening on air live, hello. For those that are watching on Facebook live, hello.
Hello.
That's kind of fun to say.
Yeah.
Watching on Facebook live. Does that make sense?
No.
But
Watching
that's
on
what I
Facebook.
said anyway.
Yeah.
So, want to give a quick recap, and then we're gonna with Shelf Genie, who we just had on here, and then we're gonna kind of go over the kind of local Seattle market real estate update, and things have shifted a little bit. So, I want to talk about that. But first, let's give a quick recap about Shelf Genie because that was actually really cool. I did not realize how big of a difference adding shelving, like pull-out gliding shelves. Here, I'll show the watchers. So there you go. Shannon's holding that up so you can see what we're talking about. So, the difference that you could actually make in especially your pantry, but not just your pantry, any other cabinet in your home, in your kitchen, your bathroom, because that's kind of what they specialize in. And they can really maximize your space.
Organization and efficiency. It's pretty. I learned a lot, and not to mention there are some pretty phenomenal pictures in here of some of the projects that they work on. So it was a good show.
It was.
Great guest.
He was a great guest, and one of the things I loved about him, kind of what he said and how I think he separates himself is that initial consultation. He does the in-home consultation where comes to your house, looks at what your kitchen is like right now, and he'll go, okay, well, I see all this dead space here. I see this here. These are all the things that you could do where you can maximize your space by adding these types of shelving. He's like, that's what separates me from, the closet organizing, whatever the container store, or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah. He just put a lot of emphasis. He put so much emphasis, the importance on that initial consultation, and that's where, this guy's got a master's degree from Stanford
smart
in
guy.
mechanical engineering. Yeah. The guy's smart, and he's saying that is our product's great. What we do is great. The consultation is where you get the most bang for your buck, because that's where you can tap into our brain.
Here's what's funny. You do this, as I hit the microphone, you do this in your mortgage business.
Yeah.
And that's, it's interesting how you kind of separate yourself by doing that. And I know that I know because I've listened to a lot of and met with a lot of mortgage brokers and lenders in general. What you do really does separate yourself. So maybe give people a quick heads up of what it is that you do that's different.
For our listeners, and Shannon, you may have to come closer to us because the volume on Facebook Live stinks. But basically, an initial consultation is you're taking one of the largest financial decisions of your life, and who you're leaving that in the hands of is important. But the end goal, it can either be smooth or it can be crazy turbulent.
Yep. And
what we hear, you hear the horror stories, I hear the horror stories.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you're going to get, my product is a mortgage. You can get a mortgage anywhere.
Yeah.
You can get a mortgage online. You can get a mortgage at your bank or your credit union. That missing variable, or my degree of separation, is found within that initial consultation. And so what I cover in the initial consultation, one, I just want to listen. My number one job in that initial consultation is obviously I don't meet with anybody unless I've reviewed their credit and their financial situation. But after that, I ask questions, open-ended questions, and my job is to listen, and so that I can design and customize that mortgage to their needs, to their short-term and their long-term financial goals. Once we kind of have an idea there, we focus on budgeting. That's huge. From a mortgage standpoint, there's, let's just say, dozens of ways that you can tailor a mortgage that people don't realize.
Yeah.
Most people right now, and we see this at our homebuyer classes. There's a huge myth in the marketplace that you have to have 20% down to avoid PMI. To avoid paying private mortgage insurance, and that's not the case. And so, and that may not be the best strategic plan. What if you could put 10% down, avoid paying that monthly private mortgage insurance, and then take and reinvest that additional 10% elsewhere, and you're diversifying your money. So
exactly.
So that's a big part of the initial consultation. The other part of that initial consultation is, and this is huge, a lot has changed and a lot is changing in our industries. Right now we have appraisal issues. We have a shortage of appraisals for the amount of volume that's going on right now. So appraisal turn times have gone from 7 days to literally 20 to 25 days.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you've got, in the last year, you've got Fannie Mae rolled out their Fannie Mae collateral underwriting in regards to, it's an automated system that takes the property address and the appraisal report. You've got TRID that was rolled out about a year ago, which is the new closing disclosure format.
Adds an extra 3 days.
Yeah. And you have to understand, the consumer doesn't get this.
Yep.
So you have to understand those processes. We cover that in that initial consultation so that there's awareness, but they know what to expect next.
Okay, so I want to talk about, and I think that is very important.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the quick shift in the market that just occurred. So
Yeah.
I got to play my little ring-a-ding-ding thing.
For the show.
Welcome to this week's Seattle Real Estate Minute with Christian Nossum.
For those on Facebook Live, that's an announcer saying Christian is the coolest guy in the entire world. That's really what it just said. I mean,
Yeah. Some dressed up music.
so my market kind of update is, so I've been talking about it on the radio show now for a while, especially since the 4th of July.
Yeah.
But the market right after the 4th of July did its kind of annual summer slowdown. And that really did happen. It slowed down. There wasn't multiple offers on every single house. Houses weren't going for $100,000 more than they were a month ago.
For our Facebook Live listeners, because we're connected to people all over the country,
Yeah.
what marketplace are you specifically talking about?
So talking about Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, Seattle.
Okay.
And we're the heart of Seattle specific. I mean, we were having 5, 10, 20 offers at times on houses, and they were selling for $50,000 to $200,000 more than the asking price. And that kind of stopped really suddenly right after the 4th of July. And now it has just over the last, the beginning of September, week and a half or so, it started to come back a little. There was a house, had a client last week, made an offer on a house in Lake Forest Park, of all places, which is not the epicenter of crazy activity. And it went up, there was 20 offers on the house. 20 offers. And it wasn't grossly underpriced. It was a ho-hum, normal, run-of-the-mill house that had some nice updates, had a really great floor plan, but it was nothing special. 20 offers.
Wow.
And
In September.
Yeah. And I'm guessing it went over $100,000 more than the asking price. So, but then again, you look at the flip side, there is still some new construction in Seattle that is very competitively priced, and it's not getting multiple offers. I think buyers are assuming that new construction is going to have multiple offers, and they don't. So you can actually get a deal on some of these new construction homes. So it was a slight shift, but it's a shift. I don't know how long it's going to stay. Generally, from about Thanksgiving to Christmas, sometimes it starts Halloween, Halloween to kind of New Year's, the market slows down. People don't usually put their house on the market for sale, so there's not a lot of new inventory coming on. And buyers are kind of like, if something comes up that's perfect, I'll jump on it. But if it's not perfect, I'm not going to jump on it because I don't really want to move over the holidays. I'll do it after New Year's. And so the second week of January is really when the market starts to pick back up again. That's the second shift that we're going to see after this. Right now, it's going to stay probably about this hot in little pockets here and there. If it's priced right, buyers are jumping all over it. And those properties are probably going to sell pretty quick, but that's going to die down probably around the end of October.
Okay.
So we got a little bit of a window as a seller to put your house on the market right now and try to get it sold versus waiting until the new year. If this is a time and you have the ability to do it now, do it now. I think you're gonna reap the benefits because after the new year, I don't know what the market's going to do. I don't know if it's going to be as exciting or if it's going to be kind of dead.
Yeah, it's hard to predict that with obviously the times we're in right now with the election and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
You just don't know. So if you can get it on before the election happens, that might be good.
Yeah.
Because who knows? There might be a flood of people moving out of the U.S.
So they threaten.
Everyone
Facebook.
always
The
threatens
reality
that.
at the end of the day, we live in the best country in the world. It's all good. Well, that's good information. I mean, I think I go to you oftentimes for, hey, what's going on in your, in the market? What are you seeing?
Yep.
And that's live from the trenches. So that's good stuff.
That's exactly what's going on. That's the real day-to-day,
Yep.
what's out there. And I talk to a lot of agents, not just at my office, but all around the Seattle area that I know. And we kind of all share knowledge about what's going on and what the market's doing. So
Cool. Well, if you're joining us live on Facebook, thanks for listening in.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up.
Yeah, if anybody on Facebook Live ever has questions, do not ever hesitate to reach out to us. Obviously, we're out here to help you out. So that's it for the show, too. We got to wrap up. That was a great show.
It was good. Yep.
Shelf Genie's great.
Good
They had some really good info. So stay tuned for next week. We will be back on Seattle Real Estate Radio.
To contact the show or for more information, visit SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. That's SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. And be sure to tune in again next Monday at 3 for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, right here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL.